Did you ever wonder why it takes till the middle of July before you start feeling like yourself again? Well, hang with me for just a minute and I'm going to tell you why. And I want you to know up front that it's not because you're weak. It's not because you don't know how to teach, and it's not because something's wrong with you. It's really all about biology, because a teacher's brain gets locked into the fight or flight mode for 10 months out of the year. And the research suggests that it could take 6 weeks or more for the brain to come out of the fight or flight mode and back into the rest and digest mode. And what that means is that you only get 2 weeks of actual rest before the cycle starts all over. And I don't know about you, but that math, it just ain't mathing, because 2 weeks of rest, that's not enough time to recover from 10 weeks of being locked up in the fight or flight mode. And I want you to know that there's 3 primary reasons why this keeps happening. And by the end of this video, you're going to know what all 3 are and what you can do about each one of them starting today. So let's get to the first one. The first reason we continue to struggle even after school is out is because our nervous system didn't get the memo that school is out. And so I want you to think about it like a memory foam mattress. If you take your hand and you smash it down into a memory foam mattress and you hold it there and then you pull your hand out, you can look down at the mattress and the impression of your hand is still there. So the pressure is gone, but the impression still remains. And that's exactly what chronic stress does in the life of a teacher. I mean, you got to think about it. 10 months worth of classroom behaviors, 10 months worth of administrative pressure, 10 months worth of parents and mandates and everything else that comes along with the job. And just because the school year ended doesn't mean the impression went away, because your nervous system has been underneath that pressure for so long that it simply just doesn't know that it stopped because the calendar changed. The pressure is still there even though the school year is over. So the question that you might have is, what do you do about it? Well, here's the simplest thing that I can give you. And you're probably going to think I'm crazy, but it's called the psychological sigh. And here's all it is that you take a deep breath through your nose, and then you take one more breath to fill up your lungs. And then you exhale slowly and completely through your mouth. And that double inhale followed by the slow exhale activates what's called your vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is in the base of the brainstem, and it's like a built-in off switch for fight or flight. 1 or 2 or 3 of those in the moment whenever you're feeling kind of stressed, that will make the shift happen. And I'm not trying to say that a few breathing exercises is going to fix 10 months worth of chronic stress, but what I am saying is that when your nervous system begins to spike in June and July, like it always does, now you have a little something that you can reach for so that in the moment you can calm down your nervous system and let your brain know that everything's okay. And that matters. The second reason why teachers continue to struggle is because you start planning for the next year before this year even had a chance to breathe. And I know every teacher out there watching this knows exactly what I'm talking about. The year ends, you go a few days, for some of you, it's just a few hours, and already your mind begins drifting back towards August. We begin to think about the room setup. We begin to think about the new roster or the kids that you might be getting in your room. And then on top of that, some of you, you're going to get pulled into professional development over the summer or some sort of a training or some sort of a meeting, and you're going to be completely inundated with the very thing that you're trying to take a break from before you've even had a chance to breathe. And here's the reason why that continues to happen. It's because we believe the unspoken rule of education, which is good teachers keep working no matter what, even in the summertime. But I want you to know what that actually costs you, because you're not just giving up time at the beach and you're not just giving up time with your family. What you're actually giving up is time to take care of your own health, the opportunity to recover, your own opportunity to recover mentally, emotionally, and spiritually so that you're ready to re-enter the classroom. And that's why whenever we go back to school, oftentimes in September, we feel the same way in September that we did in May. So the question that you might have is, what are we going to do about it? Well, the answer to that may sound a little silly, but what you need to do is you got to pick a re-entry date. So before you do anything else this summer, I want you to sit down, look at your calendar, and draw a line. Everything on this side of the line, that all belongs to summer. Everything on this side of the line, that belongs to school. And what I suggest is that you don't do anything school-related, email, classroom thoughts, rosters, lesson plans, nothing until the 3rd week of July. And when you're in the middle of June and July and your brain tries to shift back to school-related things, you just simply have to say to yourself, not today, because today is still summer. Now, I don't want you to misunderstand. I'm not trying to say that this is going to be easy, because I know it's not. But I will tell you this, that protecting your recovery time, that is not selfishness. That is actually what makes you sustainable. And if you cannot make it through the summer without thinking about or without doing school-related things, then your nervous system is far more depleted than you probably realize. The third reason why teachers struggle through the summer is because we treat the symptoms without actually getting to the source. And we actually do this throughout the school year because we take mental health days, or we take staycations, or we Netflix binge, or we have self-care checklists. And I want you to know all of those things are important and all those things have their place, but none of them, and I do mean none of them, actually get to the source of the problem. And I want you to know that this is not abstract for me, because 4 years ago, I woke up and my face was paralyzed and I thought I had a stroke. My wife thought I had a stroke. The kids at school thought I had a stroke. And thank the Lord that I did not have a stroke. But what I did have was a critical health crisis as a direct result of chronic stress. And it was the clearest possible sign that for years I'd been treating symptoms while the source of the problem went completely undiagnosed. I mean, you have to understand, I was trying to take breaks and I was trying to sleep on the weekends, and I was absolutely telling myself I was just fine, even though that I wasn't fine. But at the end of the day, what I learned is that the source of the problem is not external. The source of the problem was internal. And at Teacher Talk, we're a faith-based organization, and our core verse comes from Proverbs chapter 4, verse number 23, that says, above all else, guard your heart, for from it flow the issues of life. And when Solomon talks about the heart, he doesn't mean the muscle that's in your chest. He means the core of who you are, your thoughts, your intentions, and your behaviors. He's talking about the command center of your life. And that's exactly why the fight or flight issue is such a big deal, because the amygdala up in your brain where fight or flight lives, that is part of the core of who you are. And when the amygdala is running the show, when it dictates every decision, when it dictates your choices, and when it dictates your reaction, it is a complete disaster. And that's why you always feel drained. That's why we believe the lies that the system tells us, which is mainly it's all your fault. That's why our personal boundaries end up being violated and destroyed. And that's why you feel like you're the only one that's struggling with. And I want you to know the good news is you're not the only one that's struggling. And here's the thing, the psychological sigh and the reentry date, all of those are great strategies and they'll help you over the summer, but neither one of them actually get to the source. And if you've been doing this for years, cycling through burnout and recovering just enough to survive and then going back and doing it over again, you don't actually need another tip. What you need is to get to the source and guard your command center. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to just deal with symptoms. I want to get to the source of a problem. So if you're interested in getting to the source of the problem, I want to invite you to take my 5-day teacher reset. It's a coaching resource that I developed based upon my own recovery. It has 5 laser-focused coaching video lessons that'll give you fierce clarity, an extensive companion workbook that'll help you work through and create concrete strategies for recovery and sustainability. And there are 2 personal 30-minute video calls with me, one after day 5 and one 4 weeks later, to make sure that transformation is actually taking place. Is it worth taking 5 days of your life to invest in yourself to ensure that you go back to school being well rested and transformed and able to sustain yourself through the entire school year? If so, the link is down in the description, or you can get it right there at the QR code on the screen. Either way, just go get it, because you don't have to struggle alone. Okay, so that was a lot. And if you want to go a little bit deeper on why so many good teachers are walking away from the profession that they love, I want to invite you to watch this video right here, because it's going to make everything that we talked about today even clearer. And I want you to remember that my name is John, your guide to surviving teacher burnout, and I want you to stay strong and keep teaching.